Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Genzio Media House. I am out here today with Bentzi from Utila. Bentzi, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for hosting me.
Yeah, sure. So I guess first off, what brings you out to ECC?
So we're usually serving institutions, and ECC is not necessarily the event for us, I would say. But I do think that there are a few reasons why we are here. First of all, I think that's the place to hear about the recent developments, the future plans, mostly around the EVM ecosystem, which is one of the main networks that we support. So that's one reason. A second reason, we have a bit of a distributed team when it comes to go-to-market. And actually, Brussels is a good location in the middle for everyone to come and do some gathering for the first time. So that's another one. And we have a lot of clients coming here. So it's a good opportunity to meet them, to maintain the relationship.
Sure.
Find new ones. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe before we dig into some of the clients that you're seeing out here, why don't you give us kind of a high-level overview of Utila? What is it you guys do? Maybe where do you come from? What's the history?
So what Utila is doing, we enable institutions and developers to create wallets on multiple blockchains, to manage users' access policies around the wallets, like this user can transact up to X, and if he's doing more than X, then you need like these two people to approve, etc.
Sure.
So it's a bit like a multi-sig that is more relevant for a lot of blockchains. Gas management, which is a big issue for everyone doing things on, mass amount of wallets, for example. So this is like another thing that we solve. And we also provide connectivity to decentralized applications, to some exchanges, etc. So in a way, Utila is maybe a better way to describe it, crypto operations platform. And we serve usually or institutional investors like hedge funds, VCs, OTC desks, or some platforms like payment services, exchanges, custodians, etc. Yeah.
I see. What kind of traction have you guys seen?
So we started the company around 2 years ago. Maybe a bit about the background. So we are coming from cybersecurity. That's the background of me
Gotcha.
and Sam, my co-founder. And we've been in crypto since 2016. Everyone from a bit of a different direction. I used to work next to thought to be a chess club in Tel Aviv, and I found out to be the Bitcoin embassy. So I just came there, played chess, and then I found out that it's more than just a chess place. My co-founder from the academia from his second degree in distributed networks. And I think that 2 years ago, we decided to start Utila because we see that there is like a demand for multi-chain secure wallets, mostly around the application layer side of things, like how can you easily develop a multi-chain application which is secure and scalable. And that's how we started. We launched the product in the last quarter of 2023. So it's around 9-10 months ago.
Okay.
And today we serve more than 50 paying clients all over the world. Actually, we have clients from Australia to LATAM and all in the middle.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see the need for that in the market. I myself have used multi-sigs plenty of times. By the way, the Optimism airdrop for my participation in using the Genosis multi-sig was nice. But, multi-sigs are pretty limited, right? It really only serves one function. Okay, you need multiple signatures to send a transaction, right? So it seems like what you're building, which is much more customizable and, kind of solves that solution on the institutional side where they need more variables, they need certain limits in place, so on and so forth, seems very needed.
Yeah, that's correct. I think that multi-sigs like Safe, they can be great for some use cases, but I think when it comes mostly for the institutional side of things or for developers, they need a bit of different capabilities or also around the security of things. So we are not smart contract based solution. We are based on MPC, multi-party computation. So what we do is we're splitting the private key into a few shards that are kept in different locations. And today, all the the big players in the space, that's actually the kind of technology they are looking for when it comes to key management. There are also some advantages around MPC. For example, you don't need to deploy smart contract all the time, which can be pretty expensive.
Yeah.
If you are in scale, it's easier to connect it to multiple blockchains. You can add like more advanced features like robust policy engine, which is more than just M out of N, and that's all. And it also provides some, I would say, even some flexibility when it comes to the custody model in some way, because then you can still provide a tech while not being a custodian in a way, which is also a benefit here. And I think that also when it comes to developers, for example, so they are looking for tools that can enable them to create wallets on EVMs, but also on other ecosystems like Bitcoin, Solana, Tron. We see a lot, Ton that we are adding now. etc. And this is also something that in multi-sigs is less common, I would say.
Sure.
So yeah.
Awesome. That sounds amazing. Are there any notable clients that you can point to?
Yeah, of course. So some of them, due to, let's say, the fact that they are putting a lot of money in Utila, and we cannot say their name, but
Sure.
some that we can share. So actually a recent one, which is pretty exciting, is Arca in the US. There is a neobank in London called Clear Junction, and they're also having a very, I would say, promising use cases around stablecoin settlement, and they're going to utilize our infrastructure for that. In general, I do think that the payment space around stablecoins going to be massive. So before ECC, I was actually attending a Money 2020, which is like a totally different event than what's going on here. And other clients are Epsilon. They are like very big DeFi fund based not far from here in Paris. We have Fasanar Capital, which is another big fund in the UK. Yeah, so there are some very interesting projects on Utila. We are signing now Injective Foundation, which is another big name for us.
Yeah. Awesome. It's amazing to see you guys getting the traction you have. And, 2 years is pretty short time frame, right? Only 9 months since the product's been live, right?
I think that when you build something like Utila, the beginning might be a bit tough because it's not just a visibility solution, right? It's like a solution where you put your real money. You need to have trust, and trust is the thing that we're trying to solve. I would say it's a bit like the chicken and the egg, right? You come to someone and then they're asking, okay, so who is using you guys, right? To feel more comfortable. I think that what we're trying to do is to, first of all, to focus on the pains that were in the market when it comes to other players in the institutional wallet side. We're trying to think very radically, I would say, about the user experience, which was broken, and we put a lot of focus there. For example, onboarding to Utila, today it's a few minutes, that's all. To the big legacy players, it can take way longer.
Sure.
It's already something very important. We're trying to focus on new ecosystems. That's another good thing in crypto, that the market is very dynamic, which means that all the time there is a need for new integrations, like new blockchains, new technologies, etc. So that was another thing that we do. I think that once we managed to convince the first 5-10 clients, then it became easier because we had some traction, people felt more comfortable around us. And I would say that especially as we are growing more and more, so it feels easier, right? Like the security is already granted, and now clients are mostly focused about, okay, which integrations do you have? What's the pricing model? I think that we solved the trust thing. And today our main goal is just expansion, go to market, etc.
Sure. I see. Now, I'm curious, with your guys' unique position in this market, are there any things that you see in the broader market that you're excited for, that you think are going to be beneficial to not only Utila, but maybe the market as a whole? What are some of those things that are on the horizon that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I think that we mentioned a few things. One thing is the payment space. I think that, in the end of the day, when you look at the UI of any like payment solution, it looks very modern, but in the end of the day, everything sitting on broken rails that were built like many years ago.
Right.
And I think that stable coins can bring, real innovation, and might be the first big use case of crypto. We already see like, big PSPs entering the space, neobanks. We see a lot of exciting applications around, for example, dollar access to LATAM, which I see pretty a lot recently, Africa, cross-border payments, instant settlement. I do think that, in the end of the day, the payment space is huge. There are a lot of pains there that crypto can definitely solve. So this is like one area that also Utila is really trying to focus in terms of the integration that we build, in terms of the features that we bring. For example, we recently added a lot of capabilities around gas management, because when you are paying a solution around payments, so you might need to create a lot of deposit addresses, which can create a lot of pain when it comes to managing the gas of them. How do you tap all the addresses with the gas? How do you sweep them into like a main wallet, etc.? So these things we actually built in a way that will make our customers' life way easier operationally, and also in terms of costs. I also think that when it comes to payment, there are still some things that we need to solve, like privacy. And in the end of the day, the good thing about crypto is that everything is fast. The downside is that everything is also open in a way. And when it comes to payments, I think it can be a big pain. And there are some other interesting projects there trying to solve this. So I would say first thing is anything around payments and stablecoins. Second thing, I would say that on blockchain, all the ecosystem there, it looks like, everyone was talking all the time about how you onboard 1 billion people into crypto, and then, now there is a blockchain with how many users in Telegram? Almost 1 billion.
Right. Yeah, Ton is interesting because it was created by the Telegram Foundation or whatever years ago, but I believe they abandoned it 2 years ago. I mean, recently it's gained a ton of steam. It's sitting at what, like the 8th biggest market cap? But if I'm not mistaken, I believe Telegram abandoned it. Maybe they've picked it back up. But I know that there was a period in time where Telegram actually said, okay, we're going to discontinue support for Ton, right? And now it's, seeing this insane resurgence. And I completely agree, right? Telegram, I believe, is the, my most widely used app aside from WhatsApp, right? I mean, there's a billion users right there.
Yeah, but I would say that, it's so easy to, I was trying Telegram wallets for a while. It's like a very easy experience. We see a lot of developments around USDT and Ton, which I think will bring like mass volumes there. So I do think that there is something there. So this is like another area that we are looking at. When it comes to institutional wallet providers, there is no any provider that provide good support there. It's pretty limited. So this is like another area where we are trying to provide wider support, especially as looks like Ton will play a big role in payments. So that's like another thing that we are very excited about at Utila.
Sure. It makes sense that we would see that kind of social and payments bridge, right? I mean, Venmo came out and they were really the first platform to make paying people almost like social media. You can have friends on Venmo, you can like people's different payments, you can comment on different payments, and it's kind of interact with this, financial side of people just sending each other money, right? And then, Elon has talked about wanting to turn X into that, and who knows what he's going to do there. We haven't seen any of that, So, I mean, for Telegram to kind of create that side of things, I think, only makes sense and would definitely be huge.
Yeah, the network is already there, right? It's just to plug crypto inside. That's all.
For sure. Well, is there anything that Utila is, going to be coming out with that maybe you'd like to share today?
So there are a few things. I think that the gas management is actually a big thing for us that we added recently. So besides of, adding Ton, we just added support for Cosmos SDK. We see a lot of things happening there, especially around DeFi. So this is something that we just rolled out 2 weeks ago. We are now adding support for some of the main blockchains there, which is another exciting thing for us. What we are also looking to add pretty soon, so we have some very interesting partnerships coming out, because today Utila is mostly focused on one side, which is like hot wallets, but we do see like a growing demand for a combination, I would say, of like cold and hot wallets, and we are about to partner with one of the biggest players when it comes to cold storage, qualified custody, etc., which makes a lot of sense. Like in the end of the day, you need like this place just to keep things and not move them that much, and then you need like this layer that will be maybe even just 10% of your assets, but where everything is moving, right? And I think that this kind of integration will be an unlocker for a lot of players who want to enter the space. And so far they had some challenges with how to work with like Utila separately or, with like a cold storage. So that's another thing that we are now working to add. Yeah, besides that, I would say that we are sitting in a very exciting location, because what we provide in a way is like the browser for developers, for institutions to connect to crypto. So we all the time learn about what they need, what they talk about, and we are building for them like this secure gateway to the future in a way, right? So
sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So I guess, is this your first time in Brussels?
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, myself as well. How are you liking the event? How are you liking Brussels?
Yeah, Brussels is beautiful. I had some walks today, and I think the good thing about it that it's everything is pretty accessible by walk. Usually ECC is in Paris, and then it's a huge city, right? Here it's like a village compared to it.
Yeah.
It's also interesting to see the combination of some French and some Dutch. Like I'm spending a lot of time in the Netherlands. I have a lot of family there, and coming here, and it's and you see something that is like not Dutch, but also like not totally French, something in the middle. That's interesting. Yeah, I do think that the event, to be honest, we are not going to the main event. Okay. We didn't get any tickets.
Us.
Yeah, we're like we're like too late. But I think it's mostly about who is coming to the city, and the side events and the things that are happening there, sometimes they can be even more interesting than the main event itself. And I think the real magic is actually happening there. It was a pretty small event actually around payments, but it was very good. Like there were like a lot of builders building very exciting stuff.
Nice.
There are some other events. Yesterday, like we're talking in a MPC panel, so you have a lot of cryptographers coming to town. So I would say there is a lot of happening, mostly around the side events.
Yeah. No, I would definitely agree. You know, the side events tend to be a little bit more refined than the massive crowd that the main event often attracts. You know, we do have to wrap this up here pretty soon. I'm curious, are there any final things that you would like to touch on? Maybe about Utila, maybe about just you in general, anything else?
Yeah, I think that we covered it all, I would say. What we starting to see, which is actually exciting, is that as we get more and more institutions using us, we start to see actually a network being created between them, like a crypto buy sell and a liquidity provider, both of them using us. And then we also find out that they are actually working with each other.
Okay.
And I think something very interesting that I guess we will start to see more and more is like, how can we utilize our like network effect to provide like easy access to liquidity, easy access to new opportunities.
Sure.
And, you know, so this is actually something that I would say in the next 5 years, we'll try to focus on. So maybe we can finish here, and thanks a lot for hosting it.
Yeah, amazing. Well, look forward to, you know, talk with you next time, seeing where you guys are at. Utila sounds like a very needed platform. Very interesting stuff. Thank you so much for joining us here at the Genzio Media House. It's been a pleasure, and we will see you soon, I'm sure.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, what's up?
But it's not something Genzio is afraid of.
If you want to survive, you got to build a house.
No, we do not understand that we do not want to have. Ladies and gentlemen,
We're back at the Genzio Media House.
Oswald, thanks so much for joining us today.